Lily May Humphries is fresh off the back of a 68 on Sunday at the Dutch Ladies Open. Lily was complaining of a few fats and thins on Saturday, and we made a few changes, very, very simple changes that saw her score come down by 7 strokes on Sunday. I'm going to share with you what we changed and how it will be really applicable to your game. I see it all too often, what you do on the range not translating out into the golf course. Now, all too often, you'll be practicing on the range and you'll have some sort of alignment stick, golf club, or absolutely nothing at all on the floor to check your alignment. Now, with practice on the range, you're in one static position and you're invariably getting used to exactly where you're aiming and where you're seeing the ball take off. Now, Lily works hard. She is a diligent practicer and she has made some huge changes since we've been working in October. Now, Lily was complaining of fats and thins. Fats and thins usually come from too much of an inside-out path, and it's a plague of the golfing fraternity. And a lot of it has come from being previously, before my coaching, a bowed left wrist golfer and someone that liked to see the ball move aggressively right to left. Lily through strike had a grip that moved quite aggressively out to the right. Now, when you're standing on the range and you're striking the ball well on the back of some really good instruction, good golf coaching, the striking and the lines of the swing, as you can see, are really, really neutral. Now, imagine that you then go out onto the golf course and you start aiming differently to what you're doing on the range. So when you're standing to the target, all of a sudden, you go from feeling the orientation of your chest to the target different to that of what it felt like on the golf course. Now, the trouble is, on the golf course, you'll be more inclined to go back to default. Now, Lily simply went out with a feeling that she felt more open with her chest. She started walking in and feeling more open with her chest, and it immediately gave her the sensation that the ball is going to start much straighter, and for a drawer of the golf ball, it's going to end up looking like this shot here. The one that feels like it's going to start left and then draw. Now, you can see the difference between the shot that I played before and that one there was the difference of some 12 degrees of path line. The face to path line, the bend in the sky, was actually less on the second shot than it was on the first. And this is crucial because the left side of the body, the mobility of the left side of the body, will either be helped or hindered by your alignment. And I did a video on the left shoulder, one of my most popular videos. Go check it out up here. And it talks about how this lead shoulder needs to sit down on the way through. And when the lead shoulder starts to sit down on the way through, what starts to happen is path lines straighten up, good old TrackMan, and it allows you to keep the height of the grip on the way through much lower. And when you keep the height of the grip much lower through strike here, it allows you to keep the kink in the lead wrist that we see through my grip series. And if you haven't checked out my Swing Builder series, you'll find it being a huge influence there too. goodgolfcoaching.com if you haven't checked it out. So once you get yourself more lined up to the target and you get away from feeling like you need to aim excessively left, because as soon as we aim excessively left, should I say excessively right, as soon as you aim excessively right, this lead shoulder starts to ride up too high, which now makes the grip fire itself off to the right and turn the face down. Because ultimately, if you're aiming a long way to the right, you need to unload the face to get the ball bending back to the target, which causes the left shoulder to rise up and the grip to go from low to high. As soon as we start to make this lead shoulder sit down more, it allows the lead hand and the shape of that lead wrist to keep itself. Now, a lot of you, by aiming straight, will go, but how am I going to make the ball bend to the left? Fundamentally, the only ball bending to the left is a face-to-path value that is some form of negative. And if you have a small amount of face-to-path value, you don't need a big path to the right value. So when you start to make the face-to-path on a negative side, if your path is straight, you can see that the ball will have too much bend to the left, which is a result of coming too much from the inside. So once you recognize how influential this lead shoulder is and how it gets compromised by standing shut to the target and it gets lifted up, you'll then realize that when the left shoulder sits down and the feet are more lined up straight, less to the right. Remember, Lily was excessively from the inside, aiming down the right. And we saw this really noticeably on the Sky Sports coverage of the Rose Ladies series that she lost in a playoff. You can check that video up there. You'll see me picking up some divots, and on the bag, you'll see how far to the right she was aiming, which again causes the face to have to flap over. We're looking for pressure down through the grip that allows this lead shoulder to sit down more, and you can see that I can keep the kink in my lead wrist and put loft on the golf club. I can put my pressure on the lead wrist here, forcing the grip down, and I can actually start to make face-to-path values become more positive. And if there's one thing that I hear more of on the back of my grip series is people saying they're hooking the golf ball, and that's purely coming from when you've had a poor grip, you've had to whip the toe over it and shut the face down. So getting yourself stood more at the target. You can still aim a little bit up the right, but reduce it. It will then start to make your lead side open up. And a great way of feeling this is with the wedge. Getting the wedge sloping towards you, which allows the force to go from toe to heel in your downswing. And when you start to feel pressure go from toe to heel, it pushes the hip back. It lifts the right shoulder up, and you can see that that grip is moving back in and that face is lining itself back up. I can now put kink in my lead wrist, which will line the face back up. So it's really important that that lead shoulder doesn't get too elevated in your through swing, which really compromises the face. It gets the face more open than you would ever believe coming into strike, which causes you to nose the toe of the golf club down. So Lily went from aiming up the right, aiming much straighter, feeling as though she's almost going to miss the target to the left. But what it delivered is a much better delivery angle. Made the angle of attack steeper. It got the club higher into the ball, which allowed Lily to start feeling more of a downstrike. Still got the draw because the face to path is still closed, but it improved the ball striking and the compression that made her feel really comfortable and go on to shoot 68 and move up that leaderboard on Sunday. Are you tired of paying too much for your premium leather golf gloves? Head over to gxgolfgloves.com. These are gloves tried and trusted by elite amateurs and tour players alike. Enter my code GOODCOACHING to receive 10% off your next order. Go try them out. You won't be disappointed. If you've got any thoughts on anything I've covered here today, do drop me a comment in the box below. And that, my friends, is good coaching.